to start recording. Okay, done. So today, as I told you, we're going to make first a little feedback. Now, what we did the last session. Can you remember what we did the last section? What we talked about the last section? Can you remember something?
Yes,
About
teacher.
reading,
Yes, about English skills.
What else? What else?
Productive and receptive
The productive
skills.
and receptive skills. Excellent, Monica. About reading skills. You can use the chat. Remember that you can write it on the chat too. Yeah, what else?
Schemata, teacher.
Yes. We talked about some research about reading, no? Some theories about reading. And one of these aspects was related to schemata. No, that's good, that's good. What else, what else? Schemata, what is a schemata?
Is the prior knowledge.
The prior knowledge, no, the background knowledge students have. All right, and it's important for students in order to understand, to comprehend the test. Huh? All right, what else? Anything else about it? We have seen, for example, 3 theories.
Teacher. About what is reading.
Yeah, We give a definition, what is reading, what is it involved in the process of reading. Yeah, what else, what else? Can you remember about these expressions, top down and bottom up? What was that about? Oh, your microphones, please. I'm going to silence, yeah. So can you remember? No? Top down and bottom up? And also we talked about the metacognitive, no?
Yes.
Yes, teacher.
So can you remember something about it?
cognitive, metacognitive.
No, nobody? Any idea? Tell me your ideas. Don't be afraid, don't be afraid. Here we're going to check. We're going to remember, this is like a feedback, no? Try to remember what we did the last class, the last lesson. No, nobody? Top down, bottom up?
Bottom up, yeah.
These were 2 important theories, how we could understand, how we comprehend a test, no? One of them is called the traditional one, no? The traditional way of reading.
Yeah.
No, nobody? All right.
The traditional, the cognitive, metacognitive view.
Yeah, we have these 2, right? It's the cognitive and then the metacognitive, all right? Yeah,
Yes.
okay. So don't worry. We are going to check up here these 2 aspects because we are going to add another information. That's good, Veronica. Monica, that's right. Traditional reading, most important is the test. That's good, Monica, Veronica. All right, the differences between L1 and L2. Yeah, all right. So here we're going to start talking about this part. Yeah? We are going to start with this, research and reading as second language. Yeah? So here some people, linguists especially, investigate. Remember, research is to investigate, find out. No? They investigate how we read, no? A test as a first language, as a second language, or foreign language, right? So when we talk about, or they talked about these 2 important processes, The first one is the bottom-up processing. Remember, the bottom-up processing or data-driven. So it requires a sophisticated knowledge of the language itself because you analyze the test, right? Here you're going to analyze the test. So that's why here says that this is the more important part. No, this is more important than the person who reads. Now, and the second one is that top-down processing, conceptually driven. We draw on our intelligence and experience to understand a test. Remember, no, that's why we talk about the prior knowledge. No? So here you have a brief summary of these two processes. When we read the bottom-up processing, data-driven, yeah? It requires a sophisticated knowledge of the language itself. And the top-down processing, we draw on or we rely on our intelligence, our experience to understand or to comprehend a test. Don't forget about these two processes, these two theories, how we read and comprehend a test. But here, when we read a test, we are not going to use them in an isolated way or separated way. We're going to use these two processes together, all right? And as a teachers, we are going to use also some strategies related to these two processes together too, right? And we are going to have here, just a minute, please. I'm meeting some people. All right, yeah. Okay, so here we are going to have a mixing. We are going to mix these two processes. As you can see here, the top down, you're predicting probable meaning, and the bottom up, check really what the writer says. Don't forget about these two ideas. Top down, you're predicting probable meaning because you're going to use your own ideas, your own experience, your schemata, no, remember that? And the other one is to analyze, no, to check, as he says, to check really what the writer says. This is the bottom up, the bottom up. So we are going to mix these two processes. We're going to join these two processes, and we are going to have another one that is the interactive one, all right? This is the interactive that we are going to use the top down and bottom up, both, first the bottom up or then the top down, but we are going to use them as an interaction, all right? As an interaction. That's why we say here interactive theory, all right? So here you have this. We are not going to separate it. We are not going to separate it. We're going to use them together in order to have a more interactive process of reading, all right? Okay, so here, don't forget this diagram. I'm gonna show you a diagram that we saw the last session, all right? This diagram. In this diagram, you can see the interaction, remember, the interaction between the top-down and the bottom-up processes. Here you have the reader processes test in a light of mental schemata, and then the test provides new data to be processed. So you have your background knowledge, knowledge about language and literacy, cultural values and beliefs, and on the other side, you have the shapes and sounds of the letters, the meaning of words or phrases, and grammatical information. So you have an analysis. And as you can see the arrows, no? Notice the arrows, up and down, no? As you can see here, no? Here you have this, no? Up and down, the arrows are up and down. It means that these two aspects, these two processes are going to interact. That's why we say the interactive process of reading, not just a top down or bottom up. We use both. And as a teachers, we are going to make our students use both too, not just the bottom up or not just the top down. They are going to use both processes in order to have a better understanding of the test, right? That's why here says the reader matches the data and a schema. No, schema is the singular, schemata is the plural. No? So they matches this data and a schema, and we got comprehension. All right? We have here comprehension. All right? So don't forget about these two terms, bottom-up and top-down processes. Don't forget it, please. Don't forget, it's so important in order to analyze which strategies we're going to use in order to develop these processes in our students. All right? So let's pass to the other one. So here, on the other part, we are going to talk about another theory that is related to the previous one, that is schema theory and background knowledge. Remember, the schema or schemata is related to the background knowledge, the knowledge students have related to their experiences, beliefs, culture, values, linguistic knowledge. So here, it is called here, we talked about too, the literacy. So how proficient they are in order to write, to read, to speak. This is the literacy, all right? So all of this is called the schema or schemata, yeah, schema theory in this case. So here says, according to this theory, a test does not by itself carry meaning. If you are presented a test, so by itself, it cannot carry meaning by itself, all right? So you have to add your prior knowledge, your background knowledge, your schemata to carry meaning, all right? It's not just to decodify the letters, no? Decodify the letters, no, it's not just that, no? It involves more. What else? The reader brings information, knowledge, emotion, experience, and culture, schemata, to the printed word. So all of this information is carried by the students or by the reader. With this information, they can have a match in order to understand better the test. Skill in reading depends on the efficient interaction, remember, interaction between linguistic knowledge and knowledge of the world. All right, so there is an interaction. That's why we call here interactive process of reading. When we combine, we are going to combine. We're going to make this interaction between the linguistic knowledge. Linguistic knowledge means the knowledge that you have about a language. Remember that we talked about this on the previous modules, no? Phonetics, phonology, morphology, syntax. This is the linguistic knowledge. So they match, they join this, the linguistic knowledge, with the knowledge of the world. It means their own emotions, their own experiences, their own values. So they match these two and have a comprehension, all right? They could have comprehension, okay? Okay, Carlos, don't worry. So, oh, another person, yeah. So here you can see this chart. I don't know if you have seen this chart before. Anyone can tell me if you have seen this chart before? Have you seen this chart before?
No.
No, nobody? This is a KWL chart. This is very important in order to activate schemata. Notice that this chart is composed by a table, 3 columns, And you have this, the letters, the capital letters, K, W, L. K represents what we already know, all right? So your prior knowledge about a topic, no? About an aspect, all right? This is what you already know. So you can ask to your students, no? Today we're going to talk about this. So we're going to read about this. Remember that you could use this strategy, this process, not just for reading. We could use it also for listening, no? For speaking, for writing. And this is one of the aspects that we have in the lessons based on the skills. No? We have a pre-activities, while activities, and post activities. So you can combine them. No? Then on the letter W, you have here what you want to know. All right? What you want to know. What is your expectation about that topic, that test that you're going to read about? All right? And then on the third column, you have what I have learned. So this is the metacognitive notice, because you're analyzing, what did I learn about this test? What kind of information could I obtain? So notice here this, yeah? Try to use it in your classes. Maybe you can even, then maybe we have enough time. We're going to do this activity, yeah? When we talk about the other aspects of reading. So here you have these 3 steps, no? What I already know, this is your prior knowledge, your background knowledge about a topic, about a test. What I want to know, your expectations about something, and what I have learned. So after reading or after listening, so you can have some knowledge, some information, and you could put it here, all right? For example, this strategy is used nowadays. You know that we have virtual classes at school, and in some schools I can notice that they use this. They present to students, primarily to primary. I think it's in primary and kindergarten, I think so. Can't remember exactly. Yeah. So they have some material to the student, and they have to complete this table, no? And show the evidence, no? They have to take a photo of this, and they have to send to the teacher, all right? So, but they use this strategy, the KWL chart. So what I already know about a topic, about a test, what I want to know, your expectations about the topic or about a test, and what I have learned. This is to analyze. What did you learn? Or what kind of information could you obtain when you finish reading this test? So notice this is related to the schema theory, all right? In order to activate, there is a connection, all right? There is a connection between your prior knowledge, all right? The knowledge of the world with the linguistic knowledge, all right? So don't forget about it. And don't forget about this strategy, yeah, that we use not only for reading, yeah, this is not just for reading. You could use it for any other skill, yeah. So remember that when we talk about reading, it doesn't mean that we are going to use just the reading strategies, no? It's impossible. It's impossible to separate speaking, reading, listening. No, you are going to combine. But when I say a reading lesson, it means that you are going to emphasize more on techniques or strategies, focus on developing some strategies of reading to have a better comprehension of text. So don't forget about it. Don't say, oh, but teacher, just a reading lesson is impossible. No? Yes, I know it's impossible because you are going to use speaking. For example, in order to do that, you are going to speak, because if you separate by groups to your students, no? Yeah, working groups, they have to speak because they have to talk about their own experiences. They have to share some ideas. So they have to speak. So you're here using the speaking part before the reading, right? That's why we call this a pre-reading activity. And also you use it for a post reading activity because you have what I have learned. So after the process of reading, so what kind of information could you get? All right. So don't forget about it. Yeah, don't forget about it. Please don't play with the screen. Yeah, don't forget. Oh yeah, Monica. Yes, as you can see here, what I already know, K, that's why know, what you know, yeah? Well, that's why we use K. W is what you want to know, want to know. And L, what you have learned. That's why the letter L, right? So here you have K, W, L, yeah? No, you couldn't hear? Can you listen to me? Yes, tell me please.
Yes.
Yes. Oh, Lourdes. What happened, Lourdes? Check carefully your microphone, please, Lourdes. All right. Yeah. Okay. Because Lourdes said that she couldn't hear me. All right. So don't forget about this chart. I hope you can use it in your classes. Maybe some of you have used this strategy. Yep. But if not, try to use it. Try to notice about this experience, how you feel using this experience, this activity, this strategy. All right, so here we're going to continue. Remember, this is related to the schema theory, all right? Because you want to find out what your students know about that topic that they are going to read. All right? That's why here says what I already know and what I want to know. And also you use the other one, the metacognitive, no? To analyze what did I learn? No? What kind of information did I get? So notice here these two aspects. And so try to use it. I advise you to use it. You can use it in groups, all right? You can use it in pairs, or you have a small group, maybe personally, no? It depends on you, all right? Okay, now let's continue talking about this. Now, we are going to pass to another topic related to reading, different types of reading. Tell me, please, I'm going to activate your schemata. What can you see on the picture? What
A
can
boy is a boy is reading and the others are listening.
yeah, maybe, Are they sad? Are they nervous? Are they scared?
They are happy.
They are happy, right? They are happy reading. All right, some of them, as you told me, they're getting close their eyes, no? Maybe they are imagining, no, that's not exactly listening to the other boy, no? Because there are other boy that is reading too. So maybe they are trying to imagine what they are reading. What else? Anything else? So they are reading. Excellent, Monica. They are enjoying the test. They are enjoying the test. Notice, you know, and nowadays, it's not common to watch children or young people reading and they have pleasure of reading. No, sometimes they say, no, oh no, it's boring, too many letters. No, they don't have a purpose of reading. So we must give them a purpose of reading, not just by decoding letters. No, don't forget that. So if you notice here, these students are enjoying, they are reading for pleasure, all right? And we are going to call this type of reading extensive reading. All right, remember the name, extensive reading. So what is extensive reading? Free voluntary reading. They read because they like, they love, They have pleasure reading something. Could be a novel, you know, could be a play, you know? Could be a comic. So they enjoy reading. So this type of reading is called extensive. It's a voluntary reading. Reading for pleasure and reading without looking up. Notice here, this is very important. They read without looking up all the unknown words were both highly correlate with overall language proficiency. So it means they are, oh no, I don't understand this word. No, I'm going to look up in my dictionary. No, they just read. They read because they like. They have a pleasure of reading. It doesn't matter if they don't know the words. No, it doesn't mean that they are not going to know all the words, no? Because it's impossible to understand a test if you don't know or you don't understand the words. But there are some words that they don't know or they don't have the meaning of the words, but for them, it's not important, all right? So we call this extensive reading. Don't forget it, yeah? Extensive reading, reading for pleasure. And teacher, how can we apply? Can we apply this extensive reading in a class? What do you say? Can we apply this kind of reading in a class, in a lesson?
Yes, if we look for a topic that they like.
Uh-huh, yeah, all right, all right. Any other idea? Let me see that chat.
Maybe speaking with them about the topic and calling their attention to the
Okay,
topic.
okay, uh-huh. Also, if they have no, I couldn't understand you so well, Joaquin. If they have knowledge, yeah, this is what you mean? Yes?
I mean, if they have knowledge of
Oh, yeah,
English, I
knowledge.
think
Okay,
they
yeah,
can
all
enjoy
right.
the pleasure.
Uh-huh, yeah. Okay, so remember that as a general idea, extensive reading is reading for pleasure. Remember, yeah, because we are going to talk about another one that is the opposite. Remember, extensive reading is reading for pleasure. All right? This is in a general aspect. Remember this. Extensive reading is reading for pleasure. For example, what do you enjoy reading? Yes, Monica, you're totally right. Uh-huh. We have to encourage reading to our students that they enjoy reading. All right? Okay, so the question that I made, what do you enjoy reading? Can you tell me what kind of reading or what kind of test do you enjoy reading?
About history.
History, all right. Okay, history books. Yeah, any other?
Mythologic.
Oh, mythology. Okay, that's right.
I like history books, cooking books, art books.
Oh, yeah, cookery books, history books. Okay, all right. So, here I have another comment. Novels. Jane Austen. Oh, yeah. Have you read Indira Pride and Prejudice? And it's also a film. I like this book. Pride
Yes.
and Prejudice. Yes or no?
Yes, teacher.
Okay. All right. So here, don't forget, don't forget, extensive reading is in general aspect, reading for pleasure. Yeah. Now we're going to continue talking about this topic. Extensive reading is a highly individualized approach, notice, individualized approach to reading improvement. Students select their own books and read at their own pace. So, notice here, they select their own books. So how is it possible? Yeah, any kind of books. So, and what does the teacher do? So let's see here. They select their own books, but the teacher must guide their choice. Because maybe they can choose a book of the 300 pages. Maybe at the end, this student is going to get bored, no, because it's too long. They don't know a lot of words, so they can get bored. So that's why teacher must guide. Here, the teacher is a guide. Yeah, it's a good option. Yes, you can read this, but it's too long. Maybe you can use this one, no? So the teacher maybe show the students a lot of options, a lot of choices, and the student must choose. They can select, all right? That's good, So the student selects but with the choices that the teacher showed, all right? It's not that the student, yeah, I choose this book, yeah, because I like it. Yeah, but the teacher must analyze if it is according to the level, if it is according to the grade they are, no? So this is important here, yeah? So don't get confused here. If the students select it, so they select whatever they want. No, it's not something like this. So they have some choices and they choose what they like best, all right? And also they have their own pace. No, they read by their own pace. They have their own speed, all right? Now, the teacher should guide, as I told you, students to select books at a level of comprehension that allows for comprehensible input. This is an important aspect when we are learning a language, no? The comprehensible input. And this theory is given by Cushing, no? Stephen Cushing. It's a famous linguist, all right, and researcher. He proposes a lot of theories of second language learning and second language acquisition. Yeah? I'd advise you to read about Stephen Cushing. So he proposed and he says that we are going to receive, in order to learn or acquire a language, we're going to have input. Remember that we talked about the last lesson, no? Input, output. Input, what we received. Output, what we produced. So comprehensible input. So if they want to read a book of 300 pages and with some advanced structure, so at the end, maybe the student is going to get bored or disappointed and he's not going to read anything. So that's why the teacher must guide here, should guide students to select books. So the teacher must give them a lot of choices, and they are going to select, oh, teacher, I liked this test best. I'm going to read this. All right, that's good. This is good for you. All right. Oh, the other student says, oh, teacher, I like this kind of test. I'm going to choose this. Yeah, but here the level, I think maybe this one is better. And you should give suggestions in order to the choices, students' choices. All right. So this is the extensive. Then, the emphasis on this kind of reading is on the quantity of books read and the students' enjoyment of their books. So how many books they can read, all right? And also if they enjoy reading these books or these tests, all right? So this is the emphasis on this kind of reading, on the extensive one. Students, notice here something important. Students are never tested formally on their extensive reading. However, they are required to talk about the books they read in structured activities including book conferences with the teacher, brief oral reports to the class, and discussions in a small group settings. So notice here, in this kind or this type of reading, there is not a formal testing, there is not a formal assessment. But we are going to use some strategies to evaluate if they comprehend the test, right? Because the purpose is the comprehension, if they enjoy the test. So how can we do that? So we can make here, as you can see here, book conferences like a debate or discussion, no? Then they can give oral reports if they like, what do they like about the test, what don't they like about the test, no? Or give another maybe ending of the story. No? So you have different activities, different strategies in order to evaluate informally, no? This is informally, about these tests, no? About the reading of these tests. Don't forget about this assessment. It's not a formal assessment, a formal testing, all right? It's just a more natural assessment, natural evaluation, just by giving opinions, ideas, summaries, all right, about a test, okay? So don't forget about these aspects on extensive reading. And remember, we're talking about extensive reading, all right? Now, we are going to pass through some important facts when we apply or applying extensive reading in class. Notice here, tests must be interesting, as you told me, no? The test should be or must be interesting. If not, they are not going to read. If they are not interested in what they're going to read, they are not going to do it, all right? Tests must be level appropriate. So the teacher must give some choices, some options, and they must be according to the level of the students. If you give a test to a student which is in beginner and the test is related to intermediate, so they are going to have a lot of troubles by understanding the test, so they are not going to read it, all right? Because they can get disappointed or demotivated, all right? So teachers must choose carefully the tests. They must be in the appropriate level of students, all right? The goal is to absorb unknown words through context. They are not, remember, they are not going to look up the words in a dictionary. No, no dictionary. They are going to guess the meaning of words, the unknown words, by the context. Try to encourage this. If you apply this kind of reading, you have to tell to your students, don't use translators. Don't use dictionaries. Try to guess the meaning of words by the context, all right? So this is something important in extensive reading. It's not important exactly to understand every detail of the test. This is the other type, then we're going to analyze it, all right? So it's not important here to understand every word. No, it's not important that. The most important is the students enjoy the test, understand the meaning of the test in general, right? And get some details too, but not specific details, no? You have to understand every word, no. Maybe there are some words that they are not going to know, but it's not important here, right? Don't forget about it. So they must absorb the unknown words by the context. Tests for extensive reading must be of moderate length, as I told you, no? Maybe a student wants to read a book of 300 pages. It's too long. So the student must guide, no? Must guide the student. So specifically a test should be on average at least 15 or 30 pages long. Oh, Joaquin, about the pronunciation? Pronunciation of what? Of the words on the test? Can you tell me, Joaquin? Remember that we are focusing here. We're focusing on reading. Yeah, the most important here is the comprehension of the test. If they enjoy reading the test. But reading, remember when we talk about reading, that you could do it in a silent way or in an oral way, no reading aloud. This is one of the strategies that you could do. But here is not important. It doesn't mean that if the student makes a lot of mistakes of pronunciation, so you are going to let it go. No, 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 no. Then after reading, you can come close to the student and says, yeah, you have to correct the pronunciation of this, no? But we are here emphasizing more on a silent reading in order to understand the test, all right? Yeah? Don't forget about it. So here, don't forget about the pages. This is like an advice. It's not exactly what you must do, yeah? 15 or 30 pages long, yeah? This is here the appropriate, no, average of amount of pages in order to students read. Okay, now, here, what kind of materials? Now here says, what kind of materials or learning materials can we use for extensive readings? And you told me some of them. I'm going to show you here, yeah, I'm going to show you here some of these materials that we could use for extensive readings. Look at this picture. Can you tell me what is this picture? Can you see it, Will?
Book.
Books, yeah. Any other idea? Materials, we're talking about materials. Pictures according to the context, yeah, this is in order to activate a schemata. But what the students are going to read, now remember, learning material related to what the students are going to read. No, nobody? Maybe it's not so clear.
They are bios. It's biographies, small biographies.
Uh-huh, yeah, all right. Some of them are biographies. Yes, what else, what else?
Famous people.
How do you say in English?
Yeah,
History.
they are materials.
Histories.
Champions history.
History,
Story.
yeah. For example, you have here Not Without You, the Silver
Small book.
Statue, Usain Bolt, Ellis
Usain
Island.
Bolt. It's a runner, Usain Bolt.
Uh-huh, all right.
It's a
Comics, John says comics. Yeah, closer, but not exactly comics.
yes.
Stories, yeah, you can have here stories. Yeah, remember, I don't know, maybe you have used it, yeah? Here you have another one. Then I'm going to tell you the name of this material, yeah? What about the other one? The second picture.
Magazines.
Aha, magazines, all right. Magazines, okay.
About the news.
Yeah, news could be, yeah, could be, but exactly they are magazines.
Yes, they are magazines about many topics. No, about games, history, sports,
no?
food.
Lifestyle, food.
Yes, lifestyle, fashion.
Fashion too. So the first picture are called graded readers. The first one where you can see the Usain Bolt, Malala Yousafzai, Pompeii True Story, the Silver Statue. They are graded readers. Do you know what is a reader? No, don't tell me, please. The person who reads. No, no, no. This is the material. Graded readers. Have you ever used or have you ever read a reader?
About leaders.
Books.
Yeah, books, but what kind of books?
Selected book.
Yes, selected books. Books.
Books, yeah. What kind of books?
Bestsellers.
Yeah, bestseller, but the original ones, the complete ones?
Selected
Biographies.
No,
Yeah,
teacher,
but the complete ones?
it's like a summary.
Yes, that's it.
Yeah.
Very good. Like a summary. It's a simplified test. That's why here it says graded. So that test, the original test, is presented, but in a simplified way, according to the level of the student. So we call this kind of test readers. Don't forget, readers. They are, if you could say that, adaptation. No? It's an adaptation of the original version of the test. You adapt the test according to the level of students, according to the public who is going to read that book. Yeah? So this is a reader. Yeah? Don't forget it. And we use it a lot. When we are in a class, we use these kind of readers. These readers, remember, related to novels, biographies, some historical aspects, science, about anything. But remember, they are not the original versions. They are adapted versions, summarized versions, simplified versions, in order that students could understand. And also, then we're going to talk about it, they can develop some activities by reading this kind of test, all right? And the second one, as you told me, oh, just a minute, yeah. Also, we have another one, online platforms. Here I give you one example, the Project Gutenberg. Have you heard about this platform? This is a web page, yeah? It's a platform. Project Gutenberg. Nobody? Yeah, then I'm going to show you. I'm going to show you examples of these materials, yeah? But this is an important, a very useful platform that you can download books, novels, stories. Yeah? Maybe you cannot find all of them, but they have a huge quantity of books and you can download it free. You don't pay anything. And then I'm going to show you. Then I'm going to show you the page. Yeah? So the other one, another material that you could use is monolingual or native books related to any topic, to any topic, all right? And the second picture is related to magazines. Notice the materials that we could use as a test. Remember, as a test. They could read readers, or they could read online or by using a PDF file or EPUB. No? So you have different versions, online tests. This is called ebooks, monolingual books, native books, just English, and magazines. So here you have these materials to practice intensive reading, all right? Remember, extensive reading. Then we are going to talk about the intensive. Extensive reading. Reading for pleasure. No? You can, okay, I have here a magazine about the science, computing, or video games. No? You can find on the internet, and you know that some of your students like video games, and you find a magazine about video games. So they are going to enjoy reading this kind of test, right? Or computer games. No? So this is an extensive reading. Remember, reading for pleasure. It's not important to decodify every single word of the test. You're not going to analyze the structure. You're just going to read for pleasure, to understand, to comprehend the test is a general one. All right? So, and also here you have the comic books. No, some of you mentioned the comic books. What are the benefits of extensive reading? Here we're going to analyze. The development of a positive attitude toward reading in a second language. This is the most important benefit or advantage of practicing extensive reading? The attitude, the motivation. The students are motivated to read because they like, they enjoy, so they can read in English. Motivation to read more, increase reading fluency. What does it mean, reading fluency? Do you know what is the meaning of reading fluency?
Read like a native.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, this is more related to the pronunciation, right? But it's
Yeah.
specifically to understanding the test, reading fluency is how fast they could read. Sometimes some students could read the 15 pages in one day, but other students can read these 15 pages in 1 week. So some students are more fluent. Yeah, this is the term here, fluent. Fluent is, you know, that fluent, yeah, when you speak fluently, you know, you make this relationship, no? But also in reading, you call about fluency too. Fluency is how fast you read, how fast you could understand the meaning of the text. Some student must read 1 or 2 or 3 times in order to understand the text. But the other ones, just by reading once, and that's all, they could understand. So they have a better fluency of reading. So they can read faster and they can understand better. So if they have this kind of extensive reading, so their fluency on reading is going to improve, is going to increase. And remember, reading fluency means how fast they read and how fast they could understand the meaning of the text. This is the reading fluency. Don't forget it. So if they practice, if they do this kind of, this type of reading, extensive one, they can increase this reading fluency because they enjoy and they want to read more and more and more. And if they read more, so they can increase this, they could increase the understanding, no? How fast they can understand a test or how fast they can read a test, all right? Now, another one is gains in vocabulary and grammar knowledge. But teacher, you told us that the students mustn't look up in dictionaries. It's not important to understand the meaning of every word. But as I told you before, that they are going to guess the meaning of words using the context. Because in order to have an understanding, they have to understand words. Not every word, but in order to have a better understanding, they have to understand most of words, no? Most of words, the major words, right? So, but how they can understand the meaning of words? By using the context, all right? Or using some knowledge of grammar related here to morphology and syntax. No, for example, they could see the word luckily, but teacher, luckily, I haven't seen, but you have seen luck. Luck. Yes, I know what is luck. Lucky. Oh, it's the adjective. Luckily, the adverb. Yes, I know. So if they have this linguistic knowledge, they are not going to use the dictionary or the translator. They are going just to make a connection, no? A matching. Yeah, luck. Yeah, yes, I know what is luck. Lucky, luckily. Oh, yeah, it's an adverb. Oh, yes, I know what it means. So it's not necessary for them to look up in a dictionary, all right? So that's why here says they gain in vocabulary because they are going to learn more words, yeah? Not by using the dictionary, using the context, and also the grammar knowledge, all right? So these are the benefits. And the last one here you have improvement in writing in the second language. Notice here that there is a connection, right? As I told you before, there is a connection. You cannot separate or you cannot isolate it, the other skills. No, it's necessary, yeah, to connect. when you have a lesson, you connect to the 4 skills. That's what we call the integrated skill lessons, no? But here we are trying to isolate in order to focus more on the different strategies and different aspects of each skill. That's the only purpose here. I'm not saying that you're going to do or you're going to create a lesson just for reading, just for speaking, just for listening. Not exactly. It's not exactly like that. Because as you can see here, when they read, they improve their writing. Because, oh yes, I saw here on the test, yeah, how you write, how that the author of the test write this sentence. Oh, I am going to do the same. So they use this knowledge, this input. Notice, this is the input. And now with this input, they are going to produce the output. All right? So that's why extensive reading has a lot of benefits. No, you have a lot of advantages of extensive reading. Now, here you have more benefits given by a lot of authors. Yeah? For example, here you have L.A. and Mangubai, 1981, says that you can increase in reading, writing, listening proficiency. And this is related with increasing language proficiency, no? Said also by Bell in 2001 and Shaw in 2003. So remember, all of these people are researchers, linguists, yeah? Who analyze the process of learning or teaching the language, a second language. Yeah? Another person, Iwahuri and Kusanagi, 2008 and 2004, says that using extensive reading increasing reading rate. So the number, no? How many? Maybe pages or paragraphs or books, no? This is the reading rate. The other one, Coe and Krashen, remember Stephen Krashen, 1994, says that increasing attitude. So they are motivated to read, all right? Also, you increasing vocabulary knowledge. No, your vocabulary increases. It's so important here when you learn a language, when you are going to learn a second language, reading, the input is so important, the input. You have to receive a lot of input. One of these is by reading, no? The other one is by listening. Then we're going to, in the next module, we're going to talk about the listening part. An increasing motivation to know, said by Takase, 2003, Eli, 1991. So here you have different people, different researchers, different linguists who says that extensive reading has a lot of benefits to motivate students, to increase their linguistic knowledge, to increase their skills, the management of skills, also the proficiency of the language. How, remember, proficiency means how well you learn or how well you use a language. And this is a proficiency. And also how much or how many books, no? How many books they read, how much of information they can process, all right? So all of these aspects are the benefits of extensive reading. Yeah? Now, we are going to pass to the other one, the intensive reading, and I'm going to show you a picture. What can you see on this picture? What are the boys doing? What are they doing?
Trying to see very well anything they are looking at.
No, here this, they are using Google, no? And they are going to analyze, notice they are looking for some specific detail like investigators, no? So notice with this picture, the difference with the extensive reading. The intensive reading here is to completely deconstruct a text with the goal of absorbing as much meaning from it as possible. So you are going to deconstruct, you are going to look for the different or specific meanings of the text. This is the opposite with the extensive one. No, the extensive, no, you just read for pleasure. Here, no, you're going to decompose the test, the organization, the structure, the meaning of each word. Yeah, so this is the difference with the extensive one. Oh, yeah, indeed. Yeah, as I told you, if they like playing video games, you can look up for some readings related to video games. So now you can give the opportunity to students to realize that they can learn the language and also learn about video games. No? For example, I told to some of my students, no? When they are going to play a game, a video game, this game has instructions or some tricks. Maybe you can look up on the internet and find tricks in order to play better this game. So students, oh, my dear students, I have a reading, but this reading is related to some tricks or cheats. No, we call in the video games, we call them cheats. All right. In order to pass a level or to win a game, no, to win a section. So they have some cheats. But this cheat is in English. So you have to read it and tell me next time, what did you learn about a test? No? In this way, you can create some motivation the students to read something, all right? Yeah, nowadays we know that students are not used to reading a lot, no? They are just maybe more interested on digital aspects of reading with images, pictures, animations, no? Not just reading a test with letters. So you can adapt your test using picture images so they can read the test and enjoy the reading, right? Then I'm going to show you this with pages, and in this you can see some readings with these kind of interesting strategies. No, not just letters, 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 because when they say, oh, teachers, oh, a lot of letters, letters, letters. No, I don't like it. It's boring. They say that, right? It's boring. Teach a lot of letters. No, too much. It's not for me. They are more visual, right? So you have to give them comics. Then I'm going to show you this. For example, there are some readers that are adaptation of novels, but as a comic. And you can use here these novels, but as a comic, not just letters, no? And you can attract them in order to read this card, all right? So don't forget, here, the intensive reading, you are going to analyze the test. Yeah, you are going to analyze the test, deconstruct the test. So here, this is done by taking a test and systematically looking up every word, phrase, or collocation that you don't understand. And notice the contrast with the other one, no? There is a contrast with the extensive reading. You are not going to look up every word, no. Here, you have to look up every word, phrase, or collocation. Remember this. You are going to look up every word, phrase, or collocation that you do not understand or that they don't understand. The goal. What is the goal of intensive reading? To understand the literal as well as the underlying meaning of the text and gain maximum understanding of it. What was the goal on the extensive? Just for pleasure, right? To absorb, no? To absorb the meaning of words through context. But here, no. The goal of intensive reading is to understand the literal. Literal means the specific meaning, right? What the test says, or what the writer give on the test, no? Gives on the test. And also the underlying meaning of the test and to gain maximum understanding of it. So you have to analyze carefully the test, okay? This improves reading skills, vocabulary too, and grammatical knowledge. This is similar to the extensive one, right? So you can improve your reading skills, your vocabulary. Here it's more in detail because you are going to look up for the words you don't know, all right? And some grammatical knowledge because you are going to analyze the composition of the structure of the sentences, all right? So that's why he says that we are going to improve in students these skills, no? The vocabulary and grammatical knowledge. Now, important facts applying intensive reading in class. Things that we have to take into account when we want to apply intensive ones. And as my own experience says, most of the teachers use more the intensive than the extensive because the extensive reading, it takes more time to do it. But intensive, no, you just give them some 10, 15 minutes to read a test and complete some exercises, no? So you have to tell me if it is true or false, or you have to complete here or match the phrases. So notice that they are going to analyze the structure of the test. And it's easier to be done in class. The extensive one is not so easy because it takes too much time. And sometimes teachers say, no, if I give them the opportunity to read a test they want in class, I'm going to take the 2 hours. No, I need more time because I have to finish this, finish that. And sometimes we are worried about it. No? So, but try to use it. The intensive one is the most used. Test, but we have to pay attention to some aspects. Test must be interesting too, similar to the extensive. But students will have more mental resistance to the intensive reading process. Here, it's so important that when you apply the intensive reading, the test must be so interesting because you have them or you want them to analyze the test. And if the test is no interesting, so they are going to get bored easily. They're going to have a mental resistance to complete this intensive reading process. So the test must be so interesting in order to do this kind of reading, okay? Tests must be short because the end goal is to understand the test down to the most minute detail. So you cannot give them 2 or 3 pages to read. No, it's too much, too many pages, right? Just a short test, and they have to analyze this test in class, because they have to give every detail. That's why here said the most minute detail of the test. Let's pass to the materials. What kind of materials can we use for intensive reading? Do you have an idea? What kind of tests can we use to give my students to read? What kind of test? In the extensive, we have seen magazines, comics, some platforms, no? Readers.
A student book.
Aha, yeah, the student books. Yeah, okay. Yes, on the student books, we have some reading exercises. No, we also have some extracts, no, some extras of novels or magazines. So we are going to see this and the example. For example, here you have this. What is this? Can you tell me what is this? What is this?
Newspaper.
News.
It's an article, no? In a newspaper. Short, remember, the test must be short. They are not going to read the whole newspaper, the complete newspaper, no. Just an article of the newspaper. This is one of them. News articles. News articles. What else? What about this one? What about this picture?
Biography.
Yeah, but more specifically, for example, this web page, right? A very common web page.
Wikipedia.
Excellent. A biography in Wikipedia. Right, that's good. So this is Wikipedia articles. So you can find some articles on Wikipedia and you can adapt. No, you can use it as, remember that you have to adapt according to the level, no? But if you notice that this is according to the level of the students, you can give the students to read it, all right? So you could use Wikipedia articles. Then, what about this?
A short story.
Yes, a short story. No, this is a, what is the name of this short story? It
A
has a
tale.
moral.
The lion.
Fable.
Yes.
Could be a
Uh-huh.
tale.
That's it, a fable, no? The most common fables are Aesop fables, no? Aesop fables. All right, T for kids. Excellent. You use this for kids, no? Little children, no? It's a very short story. Notice, it's a very short tale, no? As you said. And also it has some moral. So you make your students think about some values, no? That's always so important here. So you have here, there's a short stories, all right? Short stories. And what about this? What about the last picture?
It's a science article or a paper.
Yeah, all right. Yes, it's an article, but more specifically, no, nobody? That's good. Storytelling, no? You can use this technique in order to motivate your students to read. That's good, Luis Vera. That's right. Very good. Excellent. It's related to music, singers, composers. Excellent. That's right. That's a good opinion. Very good. But notice here, this is, remember, blog posts. Do you know what is a blog? Blog. Yes, what is a blog?
It's a commentary online, is maybe.
That's it, yes. Now, sometimes you create your blog, and in this blog, you give some personal information, or you comment about something, and you can receive comments from other people, right? So this is a blog post. So notice the materials that we can use. And also, and as you told me, what the teacher used the most, test books. No, in the test books, you have some extracts of readings, tests, and you have to develop some activities. No? You have to complete some activities in order to analyze the test. Okay? So notice here the different materials that we could use in order to develop the intensive reading. All right? So they are very short tests because they are going to analyze carefully the meaning of words and the meaning of words. That's right, Luis. We are going to use the social media. Excellent. Nowadays, remember that our students are more digital. No? As I told you, they like reading virtual things, no, cell phones, smartphones, tablets, computers, laptops. No? they don't read it specifically with the physical books, no, nowadays. There are students that read the physical books. For example, in my school, I have some students that they like reading. For example, I talked about once with one of my students, and she told me, because she was a girl, she told me that she has read all the, how do you say that? All the books related to Harry Potter. I don't know if they are 7 or 8, I don't know exactly. All of them physically, and the original ones. Well, the family, you know, her family has some money, so they could obtain that. And then I was surprised, no? So all the Harry Potter books, all of them physically, not a virtual. So it's so important for this girl. She loves this kind of books. So she is making extensive reading. But the intensive one, for example, taking out the Harry Potter books, so you can extract some part of the chapter of Harry Potter books, and you can give some exercises in order to understand the test. Then I'm going to show you this intensive reading, and it's mostly used on test books, on the student books, no? That the student uses in class, all right? So notice here the materials, yeah, the materials that we are going to use. So I'm gonna show you the pages as I told you, yeah? Let me share it with you. I'm gonna show you the materials, the pages that you could use in order to practice extensive and intensive reading, yeah? So let me share it, just a minute. Tell me you can watch it, please. Can you watch it?
Yes, teacher.
Yeah. So I
Yes,
have,
teacher.
if you notice, I have a lot of things here.
Yes.
Yeah. One of them is this page. You can obtain here a lot of material. Yeah, a lot of material, worksheets, to third grade reading comprehension worksheets. So you have a lot of reading articles here, level stories, reading worksheets, children's stories, fables, reading comprehension exercises for grade 3. So you have here a lot of material. Remember, these are free printable worksheets to practice and improve reading comprehension. I'm going to write it on the chat in order to, let me see here. Yeah, here it is. Yeah, this is one of them. Yeah, this is one of the pages that you could use, and you can obtain a lot of material to practice reading comprehension. So this is the intensive one because you have some worksheets. Yeah. For example, we are going to enter to one of them. Okay. Yeah, notice here, these are worksheets. Excellent, Kahoot, yes, that's right. So today, my purpose was to develop a Kahoot. I don't know if we have enough time. You notice here, this is my Kahoot. Can you see the Kahoot? Yes? Have you ever played Kahoot?
Yes.
Yeah, so my intention was to show you this, but I think that time is not going to be enough. But then maybe in the next class, we're going to start with a Kahoot. Yeah? So here you have this worksheet notice. Short story. And they have to read it, and they have some exercises. Notice, language work. So this is the intensive reading because they are going to analyze the language. Maybe the topic is interesting for them, but also they have to analyze the language. And this is the intensive. This is intensive reading. When you make some exercises, in order to complete, the students must complete and analyze the language, the meaning of words in more detail, specific details. And now, for example, in B, use each word in a sentence. They have to create using the word. So in order to write a sentence, they must know exactly what that word means. If they don't know exactly, they couldn't use the word, all right? Underline the word you used. Notice here, matching, draw lines between the words and what they mean. This is another activity in order to practice intensive reading. This is intensive reading. So it's an analysis, all right? It's an analysis of the test, the structure of the test. Here, more specifically, the language. Okay, multiple choice questions. That's right. Yes, you are right, Luis. Quizzes is another web page similar to Kahoot, no? Definitions, notice here, you give the exercise to give definitions. Write a meaning of each word as it used in the test, but they have to look up the meaning related to the test, not any other meaning. The meaning related to the test, the meaning which agrees with the meaning of the general, no, the test in general, all right? Not any other meaning. Extended repose, here you can write, you can practice the writing skill. You have to answer some questions. And here you have also your answer sheet. It is easy for you because if you give this to your students, you have the answers. No? So notice this is an example of intensive reading. And as I told you, this is what we as teachers do. We commonly do, no? We give them a test, maybe we do some pre-reading activities, no? As Luis says, no, a Kahoot, no, a quizzes or storytelling, and then we give them some activities in order to analyze the language. So you are practicing the intensive reading. This is the intensive reading because you analyze, all right? Now, let's pass to the other one, another page. Remember this page, I wrote it on the chat. This is the platform that I told you before, Project Gutenberg. What can you find here? Books. This is for extensive one because here you don't have exercises, just the books, novels, stories, and you have a lot, all right? Here you can download a lot of books. And notice here, find free books in the Project Gutenberg library, all right? So here you can find a lot of books. For example, let's look one of them. I was searching some of them. Tom Sawyer. Have you heard this novel? Tom Sawyer. The author is Mark Twain.
Yes.
Yeah, so notice here, you can have here a lot of ways to download this material, also with audio. So you can practice reading and listening at the same time. So they can read and listen. This is the audiobooks, not the famous audiobooks. So you can download it, it's free. Remember, it's free. You don't pay anything, all right? So you can choose whatever you want, all right? Whatever you want, okay? This is the Project Gutenberg. Yeah? You can use it to download books, free ebooks, all right? Then, let me show you, this is the Project Gutenberg, remember? I'm going to write it on the chat, on the chat, yeah? We are going back. Yeah, this is on the chat. I'm going to write it on the chat. Yeah, this is the second one. Here you have a lot of books, yeah? Novels, stories, yeah? The other one, as I told you, you can use Kahoot, as Luis says. Now I was looking for some Kahoots. You can create Kahoots too. Yeah, when we have the module of TICs or ICTs, I'm gonna show you how to create a Kahoot. And also you can use the Kahoots that this platform have, no? So you have here Discover. No, we used Kahoot in the previous lessons. Do you remember? When we talk about morphology, syntax, no, phonetics, we apply this Kahoot. No, you write here the topic and you use this. No, and you use a Kahoot. It's like quiz. No, it's like a quiz, as Luis says. No. Now, another way to have a material related to reading is using these publishers. Some publish editorials, no editorials. So you have Pearson, you have Oxford, yeah, this is the other one. Oxford, you have here graded readers. Yeah, you cannot find the original books, but you can find extra materials like worksheets, yeah, similar to the previous page. You are not going to find the book, the reader by itself, but you could find the worksheets. And if you have the original, the book or the test, you can adapt it, no? But then I'm gonna show you how to download graded readers. The other one is Penguin Readers. This is another one, Penguin Readers. Here you have, notice, tests and activities that you could use. Yeah, here you have the books, some videos, how you could use, so the composition of the reader, learning materials, notice here a range of free tests, worksheets, lesson plans, and much more. So you have a lot of information here, all right? You can download it here, Reader's Handbook, how to unlock Penguin Readers, lesson plans, self-study worksheet, and they are divided by levels. Yeah? So you have here a lot. On the Oxford is similar. Yeah? Here you have this, Classic Tales, Dolphin Readers, Dominoes, Oxford Bookworms. You have a lot of information here. I'm going to write it on the chat again. Pearson, first the Pearson one. I'm going to write it on the chat. Yeah, this is from Pearson. Remember, they are editorials, and they are editorial. They publish books, student books, any other books, not just the student books. You have here the teaching support, help for teachers, using readers, sample resources. Now here you have the worksheets. Then we have to the Oxford. The Oxford. Again, I'm going to put it on the chat. This is about the Oxford. Yeah? The Penguin Readers. And you have also on the chat. Yeah. Then I found another web page. This is related to news. Remember that you could use also news, right? So the name of this page is Breaking News English Lessons. So here you have a lot of articles from news. Yeah, they are short ones. It depends on the level. You have a lot of levels here. Level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And also is divided by categories. Business English, environment, education, health, issues, lifestyle, people, gossip, technology, world news. So you have also speed reading, 5-speed listening, also the listening, grammar, dictation, discussion, spelling, prepositions. So here you have a lot of articles, You could use these articles. Let's enter to one of them. Also here says the level. Notice 4, 5, 6, this is for intermediate, upper intermediate level. or advanced level. Here, this is from basic beginner level, 0, 1, 2, 3. So you can choose the level, yeah? So it means that you can choose the type of activities. For example, let's start with this. Here you have, nowadays we're passing through this period related to the virus, no? Basic income for poor could slow COVID-19 spread. So this is related to real life, no? So you have here, notice the reading and listening. Notice that here they combine reading and listening because you're going to read and also listen to the article. All right? And then you have the stages of a lesson. Remember, this is a lesson. With this article, news article, you have a lesson. The warm-up is the pre-activity, the pre-reading stage. So you have basic income. What is basic income? So here says the students walk around the class and talk to other students about basic income. But first, teacher must introduce the new vocabulary, right? Maybe they don't know about what is income. So the teacher must have some ideas, no? Say some ideas about this word, no? Income. So then they discuss, no? They start talking. Remember that you join the skills, you don't separate the skills, but I focus on to develop the reading skills and also the listening on this page. Also here you have this table. Notice good idea, bad idea, wear a mask, wash hands, social distance, alcohol, wipe everything, stay at home, close borders. So they have to complete, no? And discuss their ideas, if it is good, if it is bad. Then in the next activity, coronavirus, spend 1 minute writing down all the different words you associate with the word coronavirus. Share your words with your partners and talk about it. Then you have some vocabulary, low pay, the young, the refugees. And also you have here the analysis, the structure of the language. Notice here, this is the structure. Paragraph 1, so they have too much. Before reading and listening. So you have here a lot of activities with the article, just with an article. Gut feel. This is according to the listening, comprehension questions, multiple choice quiz, a role play. This is another activity after, no? Post-reading. This is called post-reading activity, a role play. They have to act. They have to develop some characters. After reading, word search, and you have here a lot. Notice that you have a lot of activities just with an article. We're using a news article, all right? You can print, notice here, print with a 40 exercises. Notice here, you have 40 exercises, 2-page mini lesson, if it is a basic one, so 2 pages, all for graded readers. So let's start with a mini lesson. Let's see. Yeah, this is the mini lesson. You can download the mini lesson. Yeah, this is the reading. Notice it's short, and the reading is short, and you have some exercises about it. All right? And you have also here the answers. No? So you have a lot of material to practice reading. Yeah? You have a lot. On this web page, you have a lot of material to use it in class. You can adapt it. Maybe you don't know this is exercise so difficult. Maybe you can adapt some vocabulary. If you know that you're a student, maybe they don't know, they can guess the meaning of words by using the context. So you can adapt it to, and you could use the activities here given, or maybe you can use some of them, no, not all of them. So it depends on you, it's up to you. So you can adapt all of this material and you have a lot. You have a huge quantity, yeah, a huge quantity of material related to reading. And also listening. This page says you have the article and also they can listen to the audio of these articles. So I'm gonna give you again that web page. You have a lot. You're not gonna have enough time. So you can download a lot of material here, right? So I'm gonna write it on the chat again. Yeah, don't forget, this is the webpage, breakingnewsenglish.com. Yeah, www.breakingnewsenglish.com. So you can use this. And also, just to finish, because the time is getting over, I don't know if you have read this. This is a very common magazine. Have you read this magazine physically?
Yes, but in Spanish.
Oh, yeah, in Spanish. Now you have the opportunity to read it in English. And also you can give it to your students, no? But I'd advise you to use this kind of reading for intermediate, upper intermediate students. For beginners or pre-intermediate, you have to adapt. You have to adapt the readings, but you have a lot here. The healthy food, advice, culture, true stories, jokes, videos also. And you can download, you can copy this, paste it on Word, and you can give to your students to read, all right? You notice here, the readings. You have a lot of readings. Yeah. You can also here have, oh, my internet, no, my internet. And you have here a lot of information, so you can adapt, yeah, you can adapt these articles, because here you have articles. Yeah, okay, so here you have, and one last, let me see if I open it, and no, this is not, no, I think I didn't open it, yeah. I'm gonna give you this. I think I gave you these previous modules. I don't know exactly. Let me see it. Les di esta página. No sé, no me acuerdo si les di esta página en los módulos anteriores. Did I give you this page, this web page? English tips?
No.
No? Yeah, here this page is related
No.
to, or is useful for downloaded books, any kind of books. Notice here, I'm going to make it bigger. Any kind of books. Also, you can download English lessons, article collections, course books, grammar, ESP for teachers, kids, exam materials for international exams, TOEFL, IELTS, FCE, CAE, CPE, GRE, GMAT, BEC, TET, PET, YLE, SAT, Matura, other exams. You have here a lot. Then you have fiction literature, and you have this, what are we talking about? Graded readers. You have a lot. You can download a lot of graded readers here, right? And you go to the Penguin, to the Oxford, to the Pearson, and you download the worksheets. So you have the complete version. You download here the reader, and on the Oxford, Pearson, and Penguin, you download the worksheets, and you have the complete one. Now, periodicals, non-fiction, tourism, self-improvement, do-it-yourself, economics, science, literature, linguistics, literature studies, math, medicine, ebooks, multimedia, audiobooks. You can also find audiobooks, learning videos, dictionaries, so you have a lot. So you just sign up. You have to sign up. It's free, yeah. It's free, but be careful with the links. Yeah, this is the tricky part because they lead you to some links and you must click on the correct link. If not, you can get the right to another links and there's a problem. But if you click on the correct link, you can get or you can download a lot of material too. Acá ustedes pueden bajar bastante material. Puede ser libros para utilizar en clase, para mejorar el aprendizaje, para dar exámenes internacionales, diccionarios, encuentran de todo. Pero eso sí, como les estaba diciendo hace un momento, tengan mucho cuidado con los enlaces, porque esta página no contiene el libro, el material, sino que los envía a otra página donde tiene el libro, o donde pueden descargar el libro. Entonces hay que tener cuidado en qué enlace o en qué link yo le voy a dar clic, ¿ya? Para que después no nos deriven. Pues esa es la parte ahí un poquito complicada de esta página, que me manda de repente a avisos o de juegos o de compras. Hay que darle en el clic correcto para que podamos bajar el material, ¿ya? Pueden encontrar una cantidad enorme de material acá, libros, especialmente los readers, como les estaba diciendo, readers acá. Vamos a ir al Grader Readers para terminar, porque si no después me están reclamando. Acá tienen bastantes readers que ustedes se pueden bajar, ¿ya? Para que lo puedan leer. Justo, por ejemplo, el que les decía, ¿no? Que ha leído Jane Austen, Reading English, Pride and Prejudice, Upper Intermediate, está por niveles. Yo lo aplico a estudiantes de un nivel intermedio alto superior, ¿no? Acá, por ejemplo, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This is illustrated. Aquí está como especie de cómic. Eso es lo que les decía, ¿no? A veces tú le mandas a leer al chico un texto, una novela, pero todo está en letras, no le gusta. Entonces, con imágenes, ¿no? Como un cómic, parecido a un cómic. Una obra clásica, pero parecido o adaptada como un cómic. So you have a lot, ¿no? You have here number 2, 3, 4, 5. You have a lot. So as I told you, you're not going to have enough time. So try to do it, yeah, with the time, and you can download a lot of activities. Now, on the WhatsApp, I'm gonna give you a link. I'm gonna give you some readers from my personal digital library. I'm gonna give you this. And later I'm going to put a link on my Google Drive because I have my files on the Google Drive. So you open the link and you can download some graded readers, all right? Well, the time is getting over. So I think that's all for today. So here we're going to stay. Yeah? Next class, we're going to talk about strategies of reading. And we are going to analyze activities, yeah? More activities to develop the reading skill, okay? Well, it was a pleasure to listen to you again, some of you, not all of you, but we are going to have the next class next Saturday, okay? So that's all. See you. Bye-bye. Take care.
See you, teacher. See you, class.
See you, teacher.